Welcome to a live preseason football sports show. Guys, I know it's preseason. I know what you're thinking. I know you're thinking, hey, wait a second. I don't want preseason football. This is a bunch of garbage that means nothing. Actually, it is not a bunch of garbage that means nothing. This gives us that chance to see who's who. You know, the veterans that move teams and things like that. Before I go any further in this, let me introduce the other co-host right over here. Joe, what is up over there in Tampa Bay?
How you guys doing? It's still sunny and shining here in Tampa Bay, John. I just want to appreciate you for inviting me on the show, and I'm here to talk sports.
Awesome. I know it's sunny everywhere right now. I'm in New York City at the New York City studio, and it's pretty hot here too. Anyway, let's get right down to the preseason football. When I start out with preseason, what I start thinking about is you get to see the starters for a whole how many seconds? Not very many. But with that being said, Joe, in that first series, that's what we talk about. We're not talking games. The first series, which team to you kind of stood out like they might have their together?
Let me tell you this, guys. The Bucs have everything together. I know I'm kind of biased because I'm a Bucs fan, but Jameis looked great on his first drive down the field, scored a touchdown, and I think they're a sleeper in the NFC South.
All right, so right away, here we go. Here's the thing I got to know, Joe. We've seen Jameis Winston throw the ball. He's great. All the way down the field, march his team all the way down the field until he gets to the red zone.
He got to the red zone, and he scored a touchdown. I know we've had problems last year and the years prior to scoring touchdowns in the red zone, but with Bruce Arians, I think we're going to do really good this year.
So basically what you're thinking is that he's got Jameis Winston, which nobody else could do yet, and he's reeled him in, and he's taught him, look, we don't need you to run around the ball out here to your side and try to score a touchdown every time. We can settle for a field goal. You think that Arians has reined him in to settle this guy down and control the ball?
Look, we don't want field goals. We want touchdowns. Jameis's problem is he throws too many interceptions. He makes too many mistakes. We need to settle his mistakes down, and he's going to be great with Bruce Arians. I really believe that.
Well, I'm all for it, man. But here's the thing: every time I watch Jameis, and everybody says all these great things he does, when you're turning the ball over and missing a scoring opportunity, even field goals, then it's pretty hard to make it. And you know what? We're going to be paying for this guy. And you look at the stats and you look at the records. This is Jameis Winston's year, I believe, Joe. And correct me if you think I'm wrong, but this is Jameis Winston's year. It's make or break. And I'll tell you right now, I can tell you right now, Bruce Arians don't play around. And if Jameis starts the same old stuff, he will not be a starter through the rest of the season.
John, I completely agree with you. When you were talking about a kicker, every Bucs fan out there, I want you to know we have Matt Gay. He's kicking 60-yard field goals and making them. He's a really good kicker. So we do have a good kicker in Tampa Bay now, and all the Bucs fans out there, we're going to have a good year, and Jameis has to show up or he will be fired.
Wow, I like that. He's got to show up or he's fired. I like that one. That's a good one. And I'll just tell you, if he can actually step up, be a leader with a capital L, and lead the team, and don't try to be the hero on every play. You go in there, you got your series, protect the football. Remember what we had here in Tampa Bay where everybody wants to criticize it and say everything about Trent Dilfer. Trent Dilfer, if you looked at his quarterback rating when he was here, his turnovers and everything like that, you wonder how did Trent Dilfer end up with a Super Bowl ring as a starting quarterback? You know how that happened, Joe.
I believe it was the defense.
There it is right there. It was the defense. But the defense can only do their job if the offense isn't giving the other team points by turnovers and interceptions, things like that. And Trent Dilfer did not. He's just fine with controlling the ball and punting it away. So I believe That's the mentality Jameis needs to have. You got to fight for another series. You live to play another series. You don't have to be the hero.
Right, and all the Dallas Cowboys fans out there, Dak Prescott, I think, does a really good job at protecting the ball, and that's what I believe Jameis can actually follow Dak Prescott's lead. And with Bruce Arians, Jameis is going to be a good quarterback. I really believe that.
Taking right off from that for the Dallas Cowboys, we got a little bit of a situation here with Zeke. Well, you need Zeke, you need Dak. And they got Cooper. They all haven't been. Has any one of them been assigned to their contract extension yet?
I don't believe so, but let me tell you this. Do they need Zeke? You can make the argument that they don't need Zeke because that offensive line is probably the best in football. And look what DeMarco Murray did with them. He was a 1,000-yard rusher. So, do they need Zeke? I really don't think they do.
I seriously like what you're saying there. And if you see what they actually did, Joe, is that they brought in another running back. And we've seen this time and time again when there's a system in place. Now, I'm not a huge Garrett fan because I believe that the Dallas Cowboys have had championship teams in the past, but I've seen extremely poor coaching decisions, especially when it comes to clock management, that I don't like. So I'm not a Garrett fan, Joe.
Yeah, well, everyone who knows Jerry Jones is going to have a coach where he can have all the spotlight. He doesn't want a coach where the coach can take all the spotlight from Jerry Jones, and that's what he wants to do. So he's going to keep Jason Garrett there.
Well, I mean, and point well taken. Jerry Jones runs the team, and he is the man, and he wants everybody to know it. But he's got to come away with some loot here. I know what they're saying as far as quarterbacks go, but Zeke Elliott is the best running back in football stats-wise over the last couple of years. What do you think about Zeke and getting the contract done and him actually starting the first week?
Obviously, Zeke is a really talented running back. However, I do believe Saquon Barkley is going to be better than him. But Zeke, he also has off-the-field issues. Saquon doesn't, but Zeke, I really hope they do sign him because he is a talent.
I really believe that that's why he hasn't been signed yet, because what he's asking for, and he's trying to compare what he's asking for to being the highest paid because he's producing the most yards. But I guarantee you Jerry Jones is calculating in the off-field things going on because it does cost games. He was suspended 6 games. And if you're wanting to be paid as the highest running back in the league, you need to play. You can't be suspended for off-field incidents. So I have a real good feeling that that's where the difference is in the money. If you want to be the highest paid running back in the league, you need to be available 16 games out of the year.
You know what, John? I totally agree. To make all that money, you have to be a leader. I look up to guys like Russell Wilson, who's a great role model to look up to in the NFL. And, if Zeke could, get his act together, then he should get paid.
I couldn't agree with you more. He's just got to pull it together. Get it together, pal. So how about, since you're talking about Barkley, what did you think? I mean, right now, and everybody's known this from the beginning of the draft, I think we may potentially have a quarterback controversy in New York Giants.
We definitely do. Daniel Jones, he looked solid. After everyone booed him at the draft, he looked great, and I really think he's going to prove everybody wrong.
You remember things like this. Everybody booed him at the draft from where they took him. Tom Brady was a 6th-round draft pick. Okay, you're talking about the GOAT, who was a 6th-round draft pick. You can't just look at somebody's college stats, wins, anything like that, more than you look at how they're able to throw the ball, read coverages, and things like that. And if you play any style like Tom Brady, where he's famous for nickel and diamond you all the way down the field, it's about being able to read and being able to see your multiple options on the field and make those quick decisions. And it seems like he was doing that. I mean, short-lived, we got to see him, but what did he was perfect.
He was perfect. Here, everyone listening, the Giants are terrible. They're terrible.
Ditto.
And they have Saquon Barkley, and that's literally it. What's going to happen, the Giants this year, is pretty much they're going to be bad, and Daniel Jones is going to start probably midway through the season, and he's going to finish out the season. You guys are pretty much just in a rebuilding process.
And I think they've kind of known that for quite a long time, and I think they're a little impatient with knowing that, but it's a fact they are. And what I hate to see, I really do hate to see it, Eli Manning, I think, is a good quarterback. I think what happened with Eli Manning is that they didn't take care of a quarterback at the end of his career, putting the offensive line in front of him that they should have. And it's unfortunate, and you've seen it happen to many, many quarterbacks. And they try to count you out and think they're in the rebuilding phase. But when you've got a veteran quarterback in there, who, by the way, he's got 2 Super Bowl rings, you don't hang him out to dry and let him get beat up with no offensive line because you're in a rebuilding phase. Rebuild your defense and stop points from going on the board. That's what I think. If you're going to rebuild the defense.
They need to rebuild everything. Let's just put it there. That's as simple as it gets. They need to rebuild everything.
They do. Well, they got the running back out there, so
besides Saquon.
And again, Joe, what about the receiving core?
Receiving core, who do they have? Sterling Shepard. I don't even know. They lost Odell. It really. Oh, they have a good tight end. They have Evan Ingram. That's all I could think of right now.
Speaking of Odell, let's travel over to the Browns. The Browns. Lot of hype. Last year, before the season even started, talking preseason football, Joe, I said the Browns. As a matter of fact, I picked the Browns to beat the Steelers opening week last year, and I got laughed at a little bit. It was a tie football game, but I watched Hard Knocks, HBO show. They got the Raiders on there right now, and I like watching that to get a little bit on the inside stuff because it helps you kind of connect to some of these players. But I seen something in Baker Mayfield really early on in his leadership skills, and where people criticized him from the draft and forward going into his rookie season as being cocky and arrogant and everything like that. It's the right kind of arrogance. It's the right kind of cockiness. That's what real leaders are like. They believe in themselves, and that transfers out onto the playing field, and that's what we saw last year, Joe.
I can't agree more. I love Baker Mayfield. I think he's a great leader. I watched his interview actually with Colin Cowherd, who doesn't like Baker Mayfield, and he said that, to be on this level, at the highest level NFL, you have to be, you have to have that it factor, and he has it. And I think the Browns win their division, but I do think they have an early playoff round loss.
He does have the it factor, and it's not that he just has the it factor in his attitude, mentality, and everything. How about that shotgun and that beer he did up there in the stands at that baseball game? But what he has an incredible arm, Joe. That thing is on a rope coming to you now, and it's spot on. He threads the needle. He's got an arm to go with that attitude.
Yes, he does, and all the Browns fans, you guys are really lucky. I wish I could go to a couple games because that Baker to Odell connection is going to be amazing.
All right, Joe, so let's just go ahead and stick our necks out there right now and be criticized when people want to criticize us. Okay, as far as the Browns go, I'll say it right here, right now on Sports Static. I'm calling right now the Browns win their division.
I agree.
You agree?
I agree.
What a great start right here to this show. Look at their offense, look at their defense. Guys, don't look back 2 years ago where they didn't win a game, or the year before where they won one game. Don't look. That's just not the same team as far as the coaching goes and as far as the players goes. This is one of the most talented teams in football right now, and you're going to see that this year. And if you guys disagree with me, I appreciate your enthusiasm. Let's watch it happen.
I agree with everything John said. They're going to win their division, but they will have an early playoff round loss.
Ooh, so you're taking it a step further. They're going to have that early playoff loss. I think that the playoffs are going to be packed with talented teams. It's going to be a tough run. But I'd like to see them go deep. But if they make the playoffs, that's a win-win right there. I mean, that's a win. You get into the playoffs and you're seeing this team progressing year in, year out, then look out for Baker Mayfield when he comes into the junior year of his career there. How about this? The Eagles look a little bit different, Joe. The Eagles are looking much different because they don't have the Cinderella story that's pulled them into the playoffs and got them a Super Bowl one of those years, the last 2 years. They're going to try to go through the season with Carson Wentz, who can't make it through a season, Joe.
Look, I think getting rid of Nick Foles, it is a little risky. The Jags got a lot better. Carson Wentz, I believe, is a great talent. Honestly, if he could stay healthy, the Eagles, they can win the Super Bowl. They're Super Bowl contenders easily.
I mean, I agree that the defense, to me, is what's going to make a huge difference on that. But personally, and I'll tell you this right now, when you see somebody that starts getting hurt in this way, and you see what's happened to Wentz and some of the injuries he's had, knee, back, things like that, I don't think he'll make it through the season. I quite honestly would have made the bold move, and I would have traded Wentz and kept Foles.
Well, we disagree on that. Yeah, I believe Wentz is better than Foles.
I agree.
He's definitely more talented than Foles.
How many playoff wins does Wentz have?
I don't know.
That would be 0.
Okay.
Because he's never been healthy to be there. He brought a team there. I'll give it that. But he doesn't have a playoff win because he can't make it that far through a season.
You're right, but I still think Wentz is more talented. He might not have a playoff win, but look at this team. Look at the talent around it. This is a Super Bowl contending team.
If he can stay healthy, I agree with you 100%. My thing with him is that I don't think he can make it through a 16-game schedule. So,
and if you guys watch the Leap Alive podcast on basketball, John actually predicted that Kevin Durant was going to get injured in the finals. He did, so I'm not going to disagree with him that Wentz might get it.
I told you on that while we were just sitting around shooting it, is that I predicted Durant goes down and that the Golden State Warriors could not win without Kevin Durant. And it was just crazy the way it played out. But I looked at something when I looked at Kevin Durant. I looked at the Warriors, a great team, but Kevin Durant carried that team the whole season. And, man, that guy needs to do a little bit of different something with his physical body because those legs look like if you get a bucket of chicken and you see these little chicken wings in there like this, and these little, you're going to be a little upset. He needs to do something with these legs. How's he running around like this without getting injured, I said.
And he was right. He definitely needs to work on his legs. He's so tall that it's really hard for a guy that tall to work on your legs. Your calf is literally, the insertion is so high up on your leg. It's hard. You're going to have stick legs. So they're going to break easy.
Joe, you're a big-time basketball fan, but you also played some hoop. And you took your hoop playing pretty serious, yeah?
I did. I mean, I didn't play college or anything. I bet you I could have, but high school I played throughout, varsity all 4 years, and I love all sports, to be honest.
We're going to have to get a basketball show going here soon. Okay, so we talked about Philly. Let's talk about who they lost. They lost the guy. Now, I'm telling you this, Joe, and this will kind of give you an idea of how I feel about the Tampa Bay team and Jameis Winston. Last year on the show, I was calling before the season started. Nick Foles had yet to be signed. Jameis was on the fence. I was calling for us to get Nick Foles, offer him a contract last year, off of a Super Bowl win, who was going to start a season as a second-string quarterback after winning the Super Bowl. Hello? When has a quarterback ever won a Super Bowl and then he's second string to start? That's a value I want. I was calling for the Bucs to get him. It didn't happen. Look how our season went here in Tampa Bay. Lousy. So now Nick Foles goes to the Jaguars. That's how much I think of Nick Foles and what I think you're going to see with Jacksonville this year. A defense that's pretty damn good, and then you bring in leadership skills with a Super Bowl ring in Nick Foles. Joe.
Yep, I completely agree. Jacksonville is going to be way better. Blake Bortles was not good. Nick Foles gives them championship pedigree, and he doesn't turn over the ball. And, they don't have really good receivers, but I think they're going to do well with that defense.
Receivers, you're right. They don't have really good receivers because they're not knowing yet because they haven't had a quarterback get them the ball on the money, putting it right on the numbers on the jersey. So you can take a nobody and play with Tom Brady and be a somebody the next day. You know what I mean? So I think Nick Foles gets these receivers some actual loot. He's going to make these guys very wealthy. And that's what it comes from, having a good quarterback. Some of these receivers just haven't had the ball put on them.
I completely agree. But Nick Foles is very accurate, and he's a great leader. So we'll see how it goes.
Out of all these teams, we're hitting on some of them. But let me ask you, which team to you, Joe, I know we don't get a lot of time to see because it's like a series. You're in, you're out. But we still know personnel. We know a little bit from last year. We know things like that. Which team, to you, stands out the most right now as the team that you have to go through to actually make it to the dreamland?
Guys, I think we all know the answer to this. It's New England Patriots.
The New England Patriots.
It's obvious. Even though Brady's 42 years old, he's old, but he's smart. He outthinks people. That's how you win. You have to use your mind. And Belichick and Brady, they're the best at it.
Who's outthinking, though? Is it Brady that's doing the outthinking, or is it Belichick? Because we've seen second-string quarterbacks come in and win in New England and then go get huge contracts somewhere else, and they don't pan out.
It's both of them. Honestly, it's
a
both
combination.
It's a combination. Belichick puts Brady in a great system, and Brady's smart and he has a great work ethic, so that's why he succeeds in it.
Well, I appreciate your enthusiasm. The New England Patriots, you'll see, as I said it last year, and first and foremost, the worst team in the playoffs last year was the New England Patriots. They were the worst team in the playoffs last year. They had 5 losses on the road. Each one of those 5 losses on the road were to teams that did not make the playoffs. There was some poor play, and because the wins were coming in, we didn't get that. Brady nickeled and dimed, but he also made a lot of mistakes, and there was some games lost that were embarrassing. I mean, the Detroit Lions? Whoa. But I'm seeing the fall off. I don't think that the Patriots are the team. I'm going to say, and even when I say that, Joe, even when I say that, I know one thing. The Patriots have the easiest division. Okay? When you look at their division, Joe, you know what I'm saying when I talk easy division.
You're right. The Patriots do have an easy division, even though the Jets got better. They picked up C.J. Mosley, Le'Veon Bell. Bills are a little bit better. Look, it still goes to the Patriots. If you guys were watching SportsCenter, ESPN, they were saying the same things then that they're saying now. And guess what happened? They won the Super Bowl. So it goes to the Patriots.
They absolutely did. And I'll tell you this. It's got a lot to do with composure and game plan. And with Brady, like he's made a career out of, he can nickel and dime you all the way down the field. And when he's doing it, as the great late Stuart Scott would say, he was as cool as the other side of the pillow. And you You can't give him a chance. We've watched this happen. If you give him an opportunity to get back on the field and make a play. Now, there were some controversial plays and everything like that, but you're not going to deny the fact that Brady came in there and won the football game for him, nickel and diamond all the way down the field. However, wasn't very impressed with their defense. Strengthened near the end of the season. It really did. Their defense started out lousy. That could have something to do with those early bad losses. And it strengthened a little bit as they went into the season. But I think the team that I really thought last year too, which also has strengthened and focused on their defense, is the Kansas City Chiefs.
You know, the Chiefs should have been in the Super Bowl. We all know that the Chiefs should have been in the Super Bowl if D4 didn't jump off sides. Patrick Mahomes, wow, what a talent. What a talent that guy is. He could throw the ball like no other. And he can, those little sideways passes, it's amazing to see with Tyreek Hill.
Sideways pass with the tightest spiral I've ever seen. A sidearm pass, and it's right on the money end, and it's a tight spiral.
Guys, he used to play baseball. You know, exactly with Kyler Murray. I think he's going to be great, but that's for a different topic. But look, Patrick Mahomes with Tyreek Hill and Sammy Watkins, and you know, they're going to be a team a force, definitely.
And to me, that's the team right there. When you think about this, I think you take off of what Patrick Mahomes did last season, and he gets it. He really does. He pushed them deep in the playoffs. Okay, I mean, and second-year quarterback, really first-year starter quarterback, to do that, and he amazed us week in and week out. The guy does have an arm on him, and he's got talent on the football field.
Yep.
Now, obviously, they are going to play with Hill. There's that deep ball there. And look, Mahomes can put the ball in the air 70 yards, no doubt. So, Tyreek Hill, a couple of juke moves, go.
Definitely. Tyreek Hill, he used to be a track star, guys. He's faster than everyone on the field. You guys play Madden, he's 99 speed in Madden. It's literally a cheat code. He's a cheat code, and it's a great weapon.
I haven't played Madden in years. He's 99 on the speed.
Hey, anyone that plays Madden, you know, you want my gamer tag, call in. We can play today.
I like it. So, I really am looking at the Kansas City Chiefs to kind of pick up where they left off. I love Andy Reid as a coach, and there's nothing I'd like to see more than this guy get a championship before he retires. I think he's a great coach.
Right. Andy Reid is a great coach. All the battles he's had with Belichick, and you know, he's been from the Eagles, now the Chiefs, and I completely agree.
Yeah. Andy Reid is a great coach, and he's got a great team. Now it's just defense because, look, they put the numbers up all year long. They just couldn't stop the numbers coming against them the whole season. So it's just one of those things. Who's going to get the ball last? You know, and you get in these games, which they say it's an offensive league. You know, this is what they're saying. But no, defense wins games, and everybody seems to be forgetting. Defense wins games.
You're right. Defense does win games, and all the Chiefs fans out there, you guys just got the honey badger, Tyrann Mathieu. Amazing player, and he's going to be a force.
I agree with you 100% on there. That's a difference maker. Let's see what they can do with that front line defense and what they can do to disrupt these quarterbacks that they're facing. You get the ball back without any points scored on you, and you're Kansas City. You're winning the game. It's just the way it is. You know they're going to put the points up. Now the thing is can they keep the points off of the board? Let's move along here, since we're talking about some of these potential championship teams. What do you think about the Rams?
The Rams. Ooh, it all depends. Hey, that team runs through Todd Gurley. I'll tell you that. And he's injured. So if Todd Gurley can play, they're Super Bowl contenders. If he can't, they're going to lose.
And I agree with you on that. I don't think he's going to be able to take on a load that we've been accustomed to seeing him do. And we obviously saw that at the end of last year, and could have potentially cost them a championship. Now, don't get me wrong, they had that second string guy come in there out of nowhere. I think they brought him in off the couch. And he had a couple of amazing games, but not in the Super Bowl. No. That to me was a difference maker. If they would have had a real good run game going on, that it would have been a difference maker in controlling the clock and keeping Brady off the field. So,
yeah,
I don't know.
I mean, I completely agree. The Rams, their offense is really good. Yeah, and you know, in the Super Bowl, that was obviously the most boring Super Bowl I've ever seen. Yeah, I just believe that the Rams, they are a Super Bowl contender if Todd Gurley's there. If they're not, if he's not.
Guys, before we get any further along here, what I want to do is I want to remind everybody during the regular season that we get our picks coming in from Murphman. Okay? Murphman is the man, and I'm just going to let you guys know right now, okay? That guy was amazing last year. In the regular season, I think he was like 13-3, okay? And just amazing on his picks. So we got some new stuff for Murphman this year. He's going to be doing his picks. You guys can find Murphman on Facebook, spelt just like you see it there, Murphman. He's got his own page. You guys got to go follow him and like him. He's right on when he does his picks. So if you're looking to make some good bets, or you might want to pay attention to the Murphman, because he's been spot on. And Joe, you're about ready to meet Murphman soon. You'll see. He gets on the show, and he's always in the Tampa Bay studio, so you will get a chance to see Murphman.
I can't wait.
Yeah. Joe, tell me about another team that you're really looking forward to see this regular season.
Ooh, you know what, guys? A sleeper that the Atlanta Falcons. They were good. They were in the Super Bowl 2 years ago. I mean,
can't count Matty Ice out ever.
You really can't. He's a 4,000-yard quarterback, 5,000 almost. And he might have hit 5,000. I don't know. But, yeah, they were all injured last year. You have to realize that. They really injured last year. I think they have a push this year.
I got to be honest with you, Joe. I don't know anything about the Falcons' defense. I don't. And that's just right there where I don't. They're in the division of the Buccaneers, which you and I are Buccaneer fans. And so it's kind of that weird thing that for whatever reason, I don't pay attention to some of them as much, because I know where the Bucs kind of stand, and I know they're not winning our division. Now, this year, are the Bucs going to win the division? No.
Right. The Falcons are a sleeper, but the Saints are still going to win that division. Another team that I'm really excited to watch are the Vikings. The Vikings are a Super Bowl contender team. Great receivers.
Really?
Great receivers with Thielen and Diggs. You probably have one of the best linebackers in NFL in Anthony Barr, 6'5", picks off everything. You have a solid team on offense and defense, and you have a running game. I think you have everything to win a Super Bowl.
That's interesting, because if you really look at the division too, the Vikings are in, you're really speaking truth there, because let's just stick with that a little bit right there with that division. What do you think as far as that division goes? If you're telling me the Vikings are winning their division, who do you think and feel is the runner-up and potentially a wild card?
That's interesting. I don't know I think people are going to be mad at me, but I think the Bears.
The Bears.
The Bears are definitely
the Bears.
The Khalil Mack changes the defense.
Doesn't he?
We see how that happens. He definitely changes the defense, and the Bears are definitely another Super Bowl contender.
He changes games. When you get the ball, you're on defense, and you get the ball, you're changing the game when you take the ball away. When you take it away and score, you're changing the game. This guy had a dramatic impact on games right when they got him. You look and you can kind of criticize, the Raiders and whatever was going on, but they got their plan and what they're going to do. They're working it up to be into Vegas, and all they care about is when they hit ground in Vegas and open the doors to that new stadium, that they're a playoff contender. And they've aimed towards that. It was just the wrong time for Khalil Mack in the Raiders because they don't want to have that guy wasted money when they're not ready with the rest of the team yet. What do you think about that?
Right. To be honest, I don't believe in Mitchell Trubisky just yet, guys.
I don't either.
I don't think he's proven yet, obviously. Look at their run game, too. I don't think they have a run game either. I think they got rid of Jordan Howard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, their defense is great, probably the best defense in football, but we'll see how it goes.
We will see if they can actually slide into the playoffs and get a playoff berth. So let's just kind of recap here, and let's just do this. Let's do this, Joe. I know this is preseason football. I know it's hard to tell what's going on because you're actually getting the opportunity to see everybody, the starters, in one series. But we know who's there. Let's talk, if I were to ask you to pick your 4 best teams by week 6 in the NFL, tell me who your top 4 teams will be.
That's a good question. Obviously, I'm going to have to pick the Saints are going to be one of the best teams.
Nice.
The Chiefs are going to be one of the best teams.
Nice. This is where it gets tough.
Other two. You know what? It's hard. I want to say the Patriots, but I don't think they're going to be at week 6. I don't think they're going to be the best team. I'm going to put the Bears in there. I'm going to put the Bears in there, and the last team I'm going to put in there. Wow. Let's put the Browns in there.
All right. Now I was hoping I was going to get you to say the Browns in there somewhere because Browns are one of mine right away. Kansas City are one of mine right away. The Saints, I want to, I want to say the Saints. We're close on a lot of these, Joe. We're close. I just can't. I can't say the Saints. I will say the Rams. Okay. Yeah, I need one more, huh? One more. It would be easier if I looked at the actual schedule.
Right.
But regardless of any schedule, I'm there. I'm Saints. I am the Saints. If you've got Drew Brees, to me, you can put the points up. The question is going to be, did the Saints tighten up the D? That's a simple question right there. If their D is going to stand up and stop the points, Drew Brees is going to put the points on the board. So basically that's it. So I've got KC, the Rams, the Browns, and the Saints. And you had one different.
Right, I did have one different. I put
the
the
Bears
Bears
in there.
And I just did that because defense wins championships. So that's
You're
what
right.
I'm going by.
You're absolutely right on that. Defense does win championships. So moving forward, guys, to let you know pretty much what's going to be going on week in and week out. Obviously, the preseason is our preseason as well. Yeah, preseason doesn't mean anything to a lot of people, but it gives us that opportunity to see these rookies that are coming in, and you get to watch them in these series. You do get a glimpse of some potential greatness and what your team can expect. Out of that, which rookies to you really stand out, Joe?
Guys, I know everyone was saying, or is saying right now that he's a bust, but Kyler Murray, I'm telling you guys, he's going to be great in the NFL. And that's my bold prediction. He is going to be great. And you know why he's going to be great? Because he could throw the ball. And he has Larry Fitzgerald. You know, he is on the Cardinals, but he's gonna be great. Another one. I want to say another rookie, N'Keal Harry on the Patriots is going to be another really good receiver. He got stolen, and that's what the Patriots do. So those are my 2 rookies.
Nice. And I'll tell you, Kyler Murray, I'm with you on that. The only thing with me, well, here's the good thing about Murray. Murray's one of these quarterbacks that he's lightning fast. He's fast, so he can get out of trouble with his feet. Okay? But he's not a big guy.
No.
And now you're playing against, defensive linemen that are fast. Linebackers that will run a 4 or 5, some of them. You better watch out. So this is like everybody who's great on the other side of the football. And I've seen it time and time again with these quarterbacks, which is exactly why I'm worried about the Ravens this year. I see it time and time again. You put him in there, RG3, everybody remembers. It came out, he was great. Everybody is seeing this flashy stuff, but the body can't uphold having a 250-pound guy blast you out of bounds. You come off your cleats, hit your head on the Gatorade jug, I said.
I completely agree, but the difference here, guys, is Lamar Jackson can't throw the ball. He's not accurate like Kyler Murray is accurate, like Russell Wilson is accurate. All those running quarterbacks that I just named are accurate. Lamar Jackson isn't accurate. He's a read option quarterback. And honestly, I think he's going to be another RG3. I'm sorry to say it.
I couldn't agree with you more when it comes to Lamar, unless something's happened dramatically in the offseason where he does have an arm, but he just was never using it because he could get away with using his feet. And unless something happened to change that, and we get a chance to see him nickel and dime. And that's how I believe when you got a quarterback like that, you should start the season, you should start the first series, you should never throw the ball more than 10 yards, you should nickel and dime. You take your shots once in a while. That way you can get him throw first, run second. The second he sees an option that's covered, he starts running. You got to stop that. I agree with you, though. The difference with Murray is the same difference that you noted in the good ones, the great ones, is he's got a great arm. And that arm in itself can get him out of trouble. I do worry his height a little bit, and those passes get knocked down. I do worry about that a little bit. But if he can roll out with those feet and still think pass, that's what we got a chance to see Mahomes be great at. Mahomes, I think, is the best quarterback in the NFL throwing on the run. And we could see the second best one this year in Kyler Murray.
I completely agree. Patrick Mahomes definitely is the best. Guys, you know what? Kyler Murray can really throw the ball. Don't worry about the height as much. You just look at Doug Flutie, look at Russell Wilson, look at Baker. They're barely 6 feet tall. So I still think Kyler Murray is going to be really good.
And an ironic thing about when I'm saying how great we all witnessed Patrick Mahomes throwing the ball on the run, defense started trying not to chase him out of the pocket because his percentage actually went up, completion percentage, when he was out of the pocket, when he rolled out. So they're like, look, let's not get him out. Let's not get him out. Now, there's something interesting about this. There's something in common with Kyler Murray, who can throw on the run. And they got something in common that might contribute to that. They're both baseball players.
They're both baseball players, and they both can roll out, and they both can throw the ball. They're going to be exciting players to watch, and I look forward to it.
It is going to be exciting and fun to watch. What an impressive drive Kyler Murray put up when he went out there. Hushed the critics a little bit, but you know what? Nobody's going to be hushed until we get mid-season and see what this guy can actually do.
And guys, Cliff Kingsbury, I think he's going to implement a great game plan. And you saw it on that first drive. Kyler Murray, implemented the game plan and executed the game plan really well. And I think that's what they're going to do this season.
I agree with you. What a great drive and what a great confidence builder for your rookie quarterback. You put the right plays in there for him. Every one of those plays right there were great. You didn't ask too much out of him. It looks like he's having a good training camp because he was on the money with those passes from those receivers, and that takes time to build up that chemistry with the receivers, with their speed and timing and everything. So it really looks like the Cardinals have had a great training camp with the receivers and quarterback.
Right. And I'm not saying that the Cardinals are going to have a great year, because they're not. But they're definitely, you're going to see improvements, and then you're going to see Kyler Murray eventually become a star.
So he took on, he's the second rookie quarterback drafted in 2 years. Rosen's in Miami, and he's got to battle his starting position out with Fitzmagic. Who wants to have Fitzpatrick as your backup? Who wants to have that guy, the bearded dragon, as your backup quarterback?
You know, that's honestly hilarious, and it's kind of embarrassing for Josh Rosen, to be honest. You know, you get drafted high, and then you're battling for Ryan Fitzpatrick. It's kind of embarrassing.
To me, it's not embarrassing. I think Fitzpatrick's amazing. The guy's got his football jersey from last year into the Hall of Fame, and there's a lot of quarterbacks that won't have their jersey in the Hall of Fame.
Guys, look up Ryan Fitzpatrick's touchdown to interception ratio, and then you get back to me.
I'll do that. I will do that.
Okay. Well, I mean, Josh Rosen, I think, still going to win the starting position, and Ryan Fitzpatrick's a great handcuff.
Okay, and to me, it's like this. Ryan Fitzpatrick will come in a game because Rosen's going to get beat up bad. And when Ryan Fitzpatrick comes in a game, he's going to throw 3 touchdowns in 1 quarter. Drink the Kool-Aid. Fitzmagic is back.
Yeah, Fitzpatrick's going to be back. He's going to throw 3 touchdowns, and then 3 games next, he's going to throw 5 interceptions.
But what happens, Joe, if you just let him go through that, and then he comes back and wins you another 3? That's where people mess up, in my opinion, with Fitzmagic, because then all of a sudden you say, well, we'll go back to the starter right now. Politically correct. We're going back to the starter. He threw those interceptions. But why not put him in the next game and let him throw 5 freaking touchdowns again?
Hey,
nobody's done that yet.
Hey, you guys can go ahead and do it, but let's be honest. You have Ryan Fitzpatrick as your starting quarterback. You're not a playoff team.
Wouldn't it be hilarious to see that happen? Would it not be the Fitzmagic goes into Week 16? That would be great for the NFL. I'm telling you right now. Look what he did last year. Come out with the bling on and stuff. That was hilarious. To me, it was great for football.
It was really entertaining. He's an entertaining guy. I love watching him. We'll see what happens, but I don't think it's going to happen.
I picked him to be the starter over Jameis for a reason. I already know what Jameis does combined season through the whole season. I already know that. What Jameis could not do was hit the deep receiver accurately, and that's why the stats and the touchdowns were different when Fitzpatrick came in there. Why? All of a sudden, who's this guy, Deshaun Jackson, getting the ball? Why? He's a deep threat. But if you can't get the ball there, he's not going to be happy in the locker room. Why? Because he's got a quarterback that can't get him the ball on a deep threat, and he's a deep threat guy. He doesn't want to run the slot and get his head ripped off.
You're right. Ryan, I completely agree. Ryan Fitzpatrick's really good at throwing the deep ball, and last year he hit Deshaun Jackson and all the time. And honestly, I don't think Deshaun Jackson would have left the Buccaneers if Ryan Fitzpatrick stayed.
No way.
So
he was getting the ball. He was getting the ball.
You're right.
So Miami, we all know what's up, in Miami. But I'm going to tell you this right now. I don't think that Josh Rosen, I think he's got a good arm, but I've watched him, and he holds on to the ball too long, and he's got to do something with the ball. You've got 3 seconds in this league. You've got 3 seconds to get rid of that ball. If you've got a great offensive line And every once in a while, they may get you 4 to 5 seconds, and you can get a couple of reads going on. But you've got to be able to look at the defense. You've got to be able to have some. You need to be able to understand the defense you're looking at and know your routes, and you've got to be able to check off this route by the snap of a finger. Josh Rosen is not doing that, and he's getting beat up. He did last year. He's going to again this year. I watched a little bit of him already. The same thing. He won't make it, and Fitzpatrick's going to be in there, and it's going to be whatever it is. But Josh Rosen's going to end up being a second-string backup quarterback for the rest of his career in the NFL if he can't fix how he reads the defense.
I completely agree. If he doesn't learn how to read a defense, he's going to be a second-string quarterback. He might even be out of the NFL. Who knows? But with Miami, they got rid of. I think the big mistake that Miami made is they got rid of Jay Ajayi, and I don't understand why they did that. And I think they're paying for it.
I agree with you. They got a ways to go, Miami. They definitely got a ways to go. So we'll see what happens with them. So, you got any predictions on your comeback player? Let's talk about veteran players that we've kind of fallen off the map, off the radar. But what player? Because there's certain players we just haven't brought up that have been great, had great moments. I mean, Roethlisberger in Pittsburgh. We haven't even talked about Pittsburgh, except for the fact I mentioned them tying the Browns in the opening season last year. But the Pittsburgh in their locker room drama is just wow. But do you have any players in mind, veteran players I'm talking about, that have showed greatness before but kind of fallen off the grid a little bit? Which of these players do you think is going to be the comeback player and get back to that playing form?
Guys, he's not necessarily a veteran, but Carson Wentz. Coming off injury and Nick Foles will start over him. I think he's going to be a comeback player, and I think they're going to go deep into the playoffs. The Eagles are.
I like that prediction. Again, Joe, I can say it. If he can stay healthy, if that body can hold up, we know he wins. And it hasn't been his play that's kept him off of the field. It's his body holding up. When he's in there, they win.
And one more, guys. This might surprise you, but Derek Carr. With the addition of Antonio Brown, one of the best receivers in the NFL, I think Derek Carr is going to have that 2015 season.
That's what I say. Derek Carr. Derek Carr has a great arm. Again, I mentioned the HBO special Hard Knocks. I love watching that because I get to kind of see these guys on how they are with their teammate interaction, how they are with their coaching interaction. I know we're on camera. I get it. But it shows them out of their elements in some sense. And I like Derek Carr's attitude. I like his work ethic. I like what he's about. He's a tough guy. Okay? And he believes in himself. He believes in his arm. And the players believe in him. That first episode, you heard the players talking to him and talking about him. They're just like, we knew from the first time we saw this guy come in a game and we watched him, we're like, whoa, there's our starter. And sure enough, he took a starting position and started. And that season you're talking about was incredible. Then he had that broken finger. If it wasn't for that, those Raiders were looking hot, Joe.
They were. The Raiders were the team everyone was talking about. And that's why I believe Derek Carr is definitely going to have a breakthrough comeback season due to the fact that they have Antonio Brown. I really like John Gruden. I think John Gruden's a really good coach.
I'm so glad to hear you say that.
Yeah, John Gruden is. John Gruden, you watch the Hard Knocks, he's a funny guy. I'd love to play for John Gruden, to be honest, if I was a player.
Oh, yeah. And then you get this thing, everybody says, I say he's a Super Bowl winning coach. Everybody says, he come here and he stole that Super Bowl from Dungy. That was Dungy's team. Look, let me tell you this right now. It was Dungy's team the year before. And the year before, they didn't go to the Super Bowl. Huh. That's kind of odd, isn't it? It was Dungy's team the year before. and he didn't go to the Super Bowl. It was Dungy's team the year before that, and he didn't go to the Super Bowl. Gruden, here's the thing. If you want to say he took Dungy's team to the Super Bowl, he played the Raiders in the Super Bowl. Who took the Raiders to the Super Bowl? What, somebody took Gruden's team to the Super Bowl? So anyway you look at it, Gruden had his team from the year before in the Super Bowl, right? And if you remember, Gruden didn't make it to the Super Bowl the year before that with that not fumble from Brady in the snow, which actually changed some rules in football. And that play knocked the Raiders out of the playoffs. They were going to the Super Bowl with Gruden the year before. And that team made it all the way back again. Was never the same when Gruden left. Gruden is a great coach. I think he's got a great offensive mind. Sometimes a little hard on the guys, and so the locker room sometimes it's a little iffy sometimes. And that's the one thing right there he was criticized before. But hey, he'll tell you flat out right in there. If you don't want to work, hit the road. See you later. We're here. We're winners.
Right. And, you see it with Antonio Brown. If you watch the Hard Knocks, Antonio Brown's going to Derek Carr's house. They're throwing the football around in his backyard. They're already building the chemistry there. And John Gruden's doing a great job. And honestly, guys, another sleeper, Le'Veon Bell. We haven't even talked about Le'Veon Bell yet.
Because we haven't seen him, and you're right. That's a true sleeper because we didn't see him last year. So you're absolutely right, Joe. There's the real sleeper. We did forget about him.
Yeah, I'm picking him first in fantasy. I think he's going to be amazing. I always said that Le'Veon Bell's the best back in football, by far.
Well, remember the year before when he was playing 2 years ago, right? Mm-hmm. Everybody talked about that. He was the back. He was the back that had that patience. He'd come and roll outside the pocket, have that little hesitation, and then find his hole and hit it. He is great. He's great at catching the ball, so he's another receiver, and he is a great runner as far as reading and finding those holes. I think he's got the patience to let the holes develop, and that's what separates him from a lot of the other ones that put their head down and go. He actually has that patience when he's going through the line to see let those holes develop for him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and why I say that Le'Veon Bell's the best running back in football, it's because of his diversibility, his adaptability. I'm sorry, and he can go. They actually put him at wide receiver sometimes and running back. So he's such a great player that it's hard. Maybe you can't say he's the best running back, but he's definitely the best player.
I'll give you that.
Yeah.
He's the best player, but I love the way he runs the ball because when he's running the ball, like I said, and that's one of the things, he gives time for these big guys to get out in front and make the blocks they're supposed to make. Some of these running backs hitting them holes too fast. You got to be a little bit patient on some of them runs. I understand if you're a fullback or you're coming on goal line, you're blasting, and it's right now. But when you're coming in, you really have to have the patience as a running back to let some of these plays develop in order to hit the spots you're supposed to hit.
Definitely, and Saquon and Zeke are right up with Le'Veon. That's definitely the top tier running backs in the NFL, and I can't wait to see Le'Veon in action.
I agree with you 100% on that. Now, what is going to happen there in the New York Giants? Is Eli Manning going to have one of his great years, a blast from the past, or is he going to continue to get knocked around, turn the ball over, and we're going to see this rookie quarterback come in, which would be a sad day for Eli in a way to end your career?
Honestly, I really hope Eli has a great year. I really do, but
and then rides off into the sunset.
Rides off into the sunset. And look, you can already ride into the sunset. You beat Brady in the Super Bowl twice.
Yeah.
So that says something, and that's why I'm a big fan of Eli. But to be honest, I'm gonna have to say that Daniel Jones is gonna start, and Eli's gonna get injured, and he's gonna ultimately retire.
So essentially, what you're thinking is the way that this plays out is that Daniel Jones gets the position because of Eli being injured or not ready to go.
Well, not even necessarily. Eli will be injured. It's just that they're not going to be very good, and all the media is going to be like, oh, why don't you try out Daniel Jones? Eli's on his way out. That's what's going to happen.
So the pressure from the fans in New York is going to rain down on them.
Definitely. It's Big Apple. That's what's going to happen.
Okay. Yep. I mean, I kind of see that coming, but you never know with Eli. You really don't know. He could pull something together. I think he's a good quarterback. I just don't think he's had the protection that he's needed to show off those talents. He needs that extra second. And which is crazy when you talk about an extra second, but in the NFL, 1 second is a huge difference for protection. If you get an extra second of protection, it's huge in the NFL.
Yeah. Extra second is huge. I love Eli Manning. It's just his offensive line isn't very good. He's going to get banged up. It's going to be like a Josh Rosen fate, but Eli's going to be gone.
Joe, who is the worst football team this year? Who will have and finish with the worst record in the NFL?
Oh, wow. That's a tough question. The worst record in the NFL will be the Bills.
The Bills as the worst.
The Bills as the worst.
That's pretty good. That's fair. I'm caught between a couple teams here. The Bills do come on my radar. I'm just caught between a couple teams here because I'm kind of thinking Miami's going to have a pretty sad, bad year. I'm also thinking there's the potential that the Ravens fall apart. Now, I don't know who the Ravens' backup quarterback is. Do you?
I have no idea.
Okay. That's a factor. It's a major factor because I don't think their quarterback is going to make it through the season. And if that falls apart, where they seem to have been building around them, there's issues.
That is definitely a major issue. That's a huge issue. They can't stay healthy, then it's not going to look good.
So I think maybe I may have to lean towards Miami in this, and if I were to have a number 2 pick as bad, worst. It's crazy, but it could be Detroit. It could be Detroit. Poor Stafford. I think Stafford is an incredible quarterback on the wrong team. And I know my Detroit boys, and I know what you guys are going to say. Stafford sucks. He gives you a great week and falls apart the next. I believe it's the team. It's been this way. I grew up. My first football game I went to was in 1979. Detroit against Green Bay. Who do you think won? Green Bay.
Yeah. The Lions. I completely agree. Stafford is a talented quarterback. I mean, he is on the wrong team. You guys don't really have many big name players. You have Darius Slay, who's very good. And you have Marvin Jones Jr. That's really all you guys have. You just need more players, to be honest. And Stafford, he's a really good quarterback on the wrong team. I agree.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see what happens here. So, Joe, it's been a good first preseason for us on our first sports show for the season. Guys, we are hosted by Leap Alive. The show is Sports Static. This show is all about the fans. That's you. To the fans. That's us. Back to the fans. That's you. As we get this show rolling, the real takeoff from it, where the interaction with everybody's happening, is that first week of the NFL real season. So we'll be building up to that. We want to get as much involvement as we can and have a good time like we did last year. Have a great time with the show. Joe, you looking forward to this?
I'm looking forward to this, and I hope all you guys are too. And I hope to enjoy the moment with all you guys.
It's going to be a great time. So guys, look. In the meantime, keep up with us. Keep up with us as far as everything goes with the We're going to put posts out on Facebook. You can find us on Facebook. Right now, you're watching us here on the Lipa Live YouTube channel. So I want everybody staying tuned. Do not forget about Murphman. Do not forget Murphman makes his pick. You can find him on Facebook at Lipa Live. Until next time, guys, we will see you at the next sports show. Enjoy.